We have basically, I would like to mention, as per the agenda given to our panel, is about natural gas and coal. We'll straight away go to the Andhra Pradesh gas-based power project scenario, and then after the other presentation is over, we can go for a global discussion on and take question and answer session. Gas-based capacity in Andhra, in India, as we know, 27,000 megawatt, and particularly the operational PLF has been 32.2% for 9,845 megawatt receiving domestic gas. And standard capacity in the country has been around 14,000 megawatt, and in Andhra, the standard capacity is 6,350 megawatt. So some of the highlights I will tell about the pooling. First of all, I would say that it has been a bold initiative by Government of India to bring in some pooling mechanism like this. In fact, I would like to say Capital Fortunes was first almost two and a half years back to come up with an idea of aggregator and also have competition in supply of natural gas. And we took up with the government that time that let's do something rather than, having the gas-based capacity and also having the deficit in the state that time. Some of the ideas which have been contributed and some of the things which what the Government of India calls as contribution and sacrifices by every stakeholder in making this happen. What are the waivers? The customs duty, VAT, CST, the service tax on pipeline tariff and regas charges, 50% rebate on the pipeline tariff and 50% on regas charges, transmission charges and losses, and sacrifice of return on equity by the power plants. Yes, it's a good policy where everybody has to contribute their what they can to make these things happen so that the debt servicing is not affected. At the same time, the energy from these gas-based plants is made available. I would say this is an ideal policy. The implementation has to be really done with all the seriousness. Even though the government have taken inputs from various stakeholders to make this happen, when it really comes to operationalizing, we have to take every nut and bolt has to be seen only. Now, the present LNG price of around 6.5 MMBTU, the delivered cost of RLNG on the east coast, because this has to necessarily come on the west coast with the regas and terminals being available on the west coast today, the 3 terminals, will be around $11 per MMBTU. Considering the waivers under the pooling mechanism and delivered cost of around 8 MMBTU. Now, delivered price at 8 MMBTU will result into a tariff, variable cost of around 4 rupee 10 paise. I'm straight away coming to the point rather than, beating around the bush about the policy. And due to suboptimal PLF of 30% under the pooling mechanism, it may be around 4 rupee 30 paise. Now, fixed cost, if you add around 1 rupee for the new plants and 150 for the old or 2 rupees for the old plants, we know what is the tariff. And regassing capacity availability is estimated to be 5.7 because if you have to bring, we have to see the terminals regassing capacity on the east coast to bring it to the west coast in the next 2 to 3 years, because only then the east coast terminals will be ready, whether FSRU or Gangavaram, Kakinada or Gangavaram or the Chennai port, whatever is being planned on the east coast. So this supports around 14,000 megawatt at 30% PLF. Now, what is our recommendation? Very clearly, what we are telling is, instead of reverse bidding and capping PLF at 30%, government should fix availability and utilization of regas capacity to improve the PLF to 75%. Why not? Because it supports, as per our analysis and research, higher PLFs with LNG price of 6.5 MMBTU result into 5 rupee 10 paise or maximum 5 rupee 60 paise. With availability of sufficient gas, present LNG turns over the short term and waivers, because anyway this is being told as a 2-year policy or 3-year policy. Power could be supplied without support from PSDF fund. Now again, the individual developers are being asked to bid for this PSDF fund for the gap with a cap of 5 to 50 paise, which the policy talks about. Now, as you know, in India, whenever we call for tenders and we call for biddings and reverse bidding, we have seen in the coal, they will bid zero. We don't require any support to grab, I will not, sorry if you're using the term, to get the contract, and then, it doesn't perform. Today, what's happening in the coal, people have bid zero, and now they are asking that zero is not possible, and you will see, we have seen many of such bids happening in earlier also, what's going to happen in future. Go back to the government. Yeah, negative or zero. Okay, cautiously they have avoided zero in the case of coal, that it becomes, yeah. So, these things, how they will work, we all have to go and see. So, what we are telling is, don't go to a complicated system. In fact, the power sector in India we are all experts how simple system we have complicated, whether distribution or generation, and then trying to resolve that complicated system into a simple system again. What we need to do is competition in supply. Allow multiple agencies. Now, why only the pool operator has to be GAIL again? Allow competition in sourcing. Allow multiple agencies, supplier to source LNG, so that we have some margin there itself, rather than GAIL trying to tell that this is the price at which we have to take. Lock in LNG at competitive price over short to medium term. Imported through West Coast till East Coast terminal is ready. Number one. Number two, government intervention for sufficient availability of regasification capacity for power to operate at optimum PLF. Let the government intervene and get us the regasification capacity. We have gone to all the terminals. We don't see any spare capacity available in these terminals. And we having 5.7 million tons of spare capacity is a pipe dream. But anyway, government has to make that happen. Limit intervention or sacrifices to the state and central government. If the policy is bad or something has happened, let the state and central government take the hit, rightly so, from the taxes and duties. Imposing any intervention or sacrifice by IPPs, like you forego your fixed cost for the few years, or pipeline operators, which are also private, who have bid through a competitive bidding, having their own business plans based on some margins, and regasification terminals asking them to 50%. They may have to go back to their boards and telling that in India, the whole policy has changed. We have been asked to 50% to reduce our charges. Will it be a dampener on future investments? We can't be going to the countries and telling that this is our policies, please come and tell that Shell or BP or others 50% slashing on your cost on the terminals on regasification. Doesn't gel well actually. And government intervention should provide long-term solution to boost future investment sector, not just telling a short-term 2-year knee-jerk reaction that we will do this for 30% PLF for 2 years. If the banks have restructured the loans for these IPPs for 3 years, let them wait for 2 years. So these are some things, and target price, what we are telling, if we are having competition in the supply and taking these hits by the government by taking that, it will still be affordable. If not 570, it may be 580. So southern state short-term power procurement is in the range of 550 to 590 is possible, is what our recommendation. These are the terminals in the East Coast. We all know that, and the capacity availability is what I was thinking. If available, I think we should go for this scheme. Coming to the coal, recent coal block auction have shown that aggressive pricing, it's an economic sense for plants based in central India only. We'll take the questions. We'll just take questions. Steel plants outbidding cement companies in the north regulated sector, the economics of pushing back south-based plant to the outbid competition. I think we have in India 3 types of coal plants. One is pithead, one is on the coastal based, and mixed of pithead and coastal based plants. I think the coal bidding has clearly shown that for south-based plants, the blocks is not viable at all. So why have a policy that anybody can compete in India and then make it, it's very clear that 2,500 rupees or 3,000 rupees carrying the coal of around 45% ash to the southern states, and paying this to the railways and having the higher tariff, not able to compete. So let's have very clearly a policy where south plants, you can see these, what we have shown here. The first is rupees per kilocalorie. If it is domestic block in the central India plant, yes, 1 rupee 5 paise. If it is central India domestic block but southern plant, 1 rupee 73 paise per kilocalorie, rupees per kilocalorie. And if you are importing the coal and locking them now, because the coal blocks price also has been reduced, it is a right time for us to go for a long term. So any developer who is trying to put plants in the southern region, I think should think of importing and having a link up with the imported coal blocks or long-term contract. It's again coming to 1 rupee 05 paise. This is all the coal outlook, which we have tried to say that it is possible to lock in with the coal sources outside. So basically, I would like to say that in the case of gas, go for competition with the supply also. Let the government take the VAT or service tax and other things. Don't make the private sector to take the hit as of now, because it will go in a long way. It's not giving right signals for the gas. It's still affordable. Let the market mechanism take care of that. But a modified pooling policy with these recommendations. And in the case of coal, I think imported coal for southern region plants tie in the long term now, and I think it will be a better thing rather than anything like that. I think this is what I have to say. Yeah. Yes.
Does it include the standard capacity of 6,900?
They have taken into consideration.
Considering that?
Yes.
So therefore the capacity increase will really be 24,000, after 24,000?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
How much of it is coal and how much is gas?
We have requirement here. I'll show it to you. I'll give it to you. Yeah. Okay. So this is what I had to say very clearly on coal and on the gas. I will request you have.
If you have all are combined cycle plants in India, mostly 99%. So if you have a combined cycle module, gas and steam turbine, and if you have 3 modules, if you give me 30% PLF, then one module I run at a economical and viable in a manner. Because less than 50% PLF, I can't do combined cycle operation.
Correct.
Difficulty.
Correct.
So there are number of plants with having only 2 modules, and there are plants in Kashipur in north, 3 plants by southern developers, also who have only 1 module commissioned. In 2012, there was a promise, gas was shown, end of life plan, so they hurriedly commissioned one module. So now if for 1 module you get 30% PLF, so then it is not going to run. So the poor fellow was in talks with the government to sell his gas plant for 2 years, foregoing his ROE. With the present rate of LNG, it was coming to within the cap of 550. So the 2-year contract was ready. Now the policy has come that gas will be organized by GAIL or GSPC, and there will be reverse bidding, and there will be 30% PLF. Now he was about to make some solution to recover, to pay his debt, and the thing has now gone into reverse gear. So you have any comments on that?
No, I have no comment, because as citizens, as developers, as government, see, I think days are gone to criticize each other, but I think together we are trying to find a policy, and this was the first step in the right direction, because we have been earlier also 3 years back, as I told you, we were telling the government of Andhra Pradesh to go for this aggregation model and let government organize this and open it up. But I think I will just compare it that we have been promised 5-star lunch, then at least Udupi Thali, then finally he said at least you have water, otherwise you will going to extinguish. I think this is the third one which you are going to face it now. I have no other answer. Okay, I'll request the other panelists to please.